Hello, everyone, and good morning. So nice to be here again with you. I hope you're doing fine. How has your meditation practice progressed? I hope it's doing well. Again, it's very important to remember that it is based on progress, and that if you're having any challenges, it's important a few things to make sure that you rededicate yourself every day. So if you've missed a day, come back to it. Don't engage in self pity or beating up oneself. Um, that's very important. And that's why today we'll talk about the right attitude a little bit here. And then the other is continuing consistently and not giving up. It does take time for someone who's been meditating for a very long time. Um, we each have good days and bad days, but eventually, the good thing is even the not so good days, and I say good, not so good days because they're not bad days, but just not so good days that you're not feeling 100%, you can be able to improve that. That's the power of meditation. You can be able to find your mindfulness, regain composure, become patient, calm, etc., and feel better. And sometimes deal with illness as well. Um, I'd like to in the future talk about Master Tiantai's concept of overcoming illness. It is very important aspect of meditation that's not usually talked about. But also this is an aspect in Nichiren Buddhism that we use, and Buddhism in general uses many things for healing, such as omamori and kito, etc. And it's important to kind of demystify these things, because what are they? Are they just mystical, how do you say, metaphysical, or even supernatural, or are they just traditions that superstition, etc.? So it's important to understand how these items came about, and how to utilize them properly. Because there's a lot of aspects within our practice, and I'm sure in other practices, that have been kind of left by the wayside and kind of discarded. However, they do have extreme value. So for that, let us go ahead and do some stretching here. Turn to our left, turn to our right, shoulders. How are you feeling today? Are you stiff? Sometimes if you're stiff, you could have a lack of exercise, which is another important aspect of regulating the body. You could be sleeping incorrectly, such as not correct regulation as far as um, sleeping in particular positions, length of sleeping, when you go to sleep, when you wake up. These are all important to find out how it suits your body makeup. They would say dosha. Dosha means the specifically for each person how the elements come together, and as the five elements come together, how they kind of make your own personal balance system of balance. And only you can be able to determine that. And with mindfulness and awareness, you can be able to help regulate those things and know, for instance, which foods do better with your system at this time and which ones do not. And then also with sleep, when you should go to sleep, how much sleep you need. Everyone is different. So it's important to understand your own internal balance, okay? Now let's do our neck forward and back. Let's go at our angle along our leg. Again, just relaxing, letting our body move it to the right. Now we're going to go turn to the left, our head again, using our body and letting this relax in a pendulum. Then the opposite way. Good. Now, if you have incense powder, you can go ahead and purify your body. And purity is very important, that we're distinguishing, just as we stated, our place of practice, that we make it into a spiritual place. Um, and then also quiet, as we had read before, determining the place of practice, and then preparing ourselves as well with this concept of purity. This has always been an essential aspect. And so now we've kind of prepared our body. Okay, we've regulated our body. Now we're going to regulate our breath. So let us go ahead and do 3 big breaths, breathing in and exhaling through the mouth. Okay, follow me. Breathe in, hold, and exhale. Round 2. Exhale. Last round 3. Breathe in, hold, exhale. Now let's prepare our body. Our base is strong. If we're sitting in a chair, our feet are touching, our backside are touching, flat feet. If we're sitting on a cushion or on the floor, 3 points, our 2 knees, our backside are touching. If one of your knees are up, put a pillow under it. You want to have this firm base, that you're not moving the base part of it. You can kind of sway the upper part to find the equilibrium, but the base part should remain steady, okay? Then we're going to bring in our ears over our shoulders. We do this by tucking our chin, okay? Closing our mouth, putting our tongue at the roof of our mouth, closing our eyes just enough to keep the light out. And with the sound of the bell, we're going to allow our minds to go into Dhyana by breathing through our nose. Let us release our concentration, bringing our awareness back to our body. Release our hands as well. Let us just take a moment, be mindful of the different aspects that we're trying to regulate, such as our body, our breath, our mind, as we have observed these without judgment, just simply watching, seeing, and observing our state. Let's now bring more awareness back to our body by moving our fingers, our toes. Master Tiantai says, gently swaying the body, putting our hands together, cover the eyes. As we continue into our practice and study, we were originally talking about the posture. It's important to remember that regardless of the posture that you choose, and there are many options, the most important thing is stability. Also, there is important to have the least amount of physical strain or pain as possible, especially the longer you sit. Expect some pains and aches are natural, but that's just usually from staying still. But try to minimize pain in general, and don't aggravate pre-existing injuries. So again, this is the idea of regulating the body, means being aware of what your limitations are. That's one of the reasons why we use the asana, the posturing, the movement to regulate our body so that it can become more flexible. Most Westerners, lower part of their body is not very strong. That's why lower backs tend to be pushed in or pushed out, and people tend to have more weight on the front of their body. So it's important that through the regulation of eating and sleeping as well, that we can, and that's within our power to regulate. So regard discomforts that remain as part of our practice. By simply observing them, you'll learn how your body and mind interact, and most of all, be patient. So therefore, it's not about having no pain, but we lessen it, and then when we have it, we sit with it, and we learn how to regulate that. I feel that when I'm sitting in meditation, my body being stiff in that before, especially waking up, it becomes more regulated. Okay, it becomes kind of upright, and I have some physical issues, so um, sitting up straight is very important. So therefore, I always feel as if when I'm practicing meditation, my body is naturally re-situating or organizing itself. As your practice develops, it'll get easier to sit. Eventually, you'll be able to sit for hours without any discomfort. You'll even get up feeling quite good without any stiffness or numbness. I always feel when I first started, you would have that stiffness, numbness, and also itching, etc. But the important thing is to try to sit into that, because again, you can see how the mind and body interact. That sometimes the body can manifest things on it based on the mind. And then also the body can sometimes distract the mind. And another thing is important with this idea of health is to know that sometimes this discomfort is just part of it. And again, discomfort of life we have. That's not going to stop. So with this idea of mindfulness and awareness, in the future, or even if you're dealing with that now, with body, with some perhaps issue with your health or body, some pain due to the weather, the season, etc., you can help to minimize that without necessarily the use of medication or aspirin, etc. So because it's going to be there, okay, but you'll still be able to function instead of your mind being stuck somewhere on something that's constantly irritating you. Remain as still as you can during meditation practice, despite any discomfort. This can, of course, be challenging for a beginner, but always wait as long as you can before moving. Then don't stop meditating when you change position, but rather move slowly and deliberately with full attention to the sensations in your body as you shift. So sometimes you'll see me move a little bit. This is finding my equilibrium because sometimes I'll move forward or I'll move backwards. And I want to find that sweet spot right in the middle. You will likely discover that although whatever caused you to move in the first place has disappeared, another irritating sensation has arrived and possibly more intense. So soon it'll take its place. You simply can't overcome all physical discomfort by adjusting your posture. Just be aware of that. And that as we talk about the Four Noble Truths, the idea that there is dissatisfaction in life, which has been translated as suffering, but should be dissatisfaction because we are bound by these elements that make up this body, mind, physical mind. So therefore, we cultivate beyond that aspect in order to have a, how do you say, a different mind in order to deal with perhaps physical ailments or mental formations, etc. This is the amazing aspect of Buddhism, the practical aspect, which is extremely practical and important because in our life, this dissatisfaction, whether it's pain, whether it's mental thoughts, etc., we have to deal with emotions. But to help regulate those through practice is extremely the most, how do you say, important aspect of our life because we're ultimately the ones who have to live it. So I thank you all for joining me again today. I hope you have a wonderful day full of enlightenment and mindfulness, and I look forward to practicing together again. If you can, please like our page, like the video, become a subscriber of our page, and also we have Patreon that if you could please join that, we'll be offering more seminars and more information for everyone. Okay, so thank you very much. Have a wonderful day.